All right, everybody, ready to totally rethink ADHD? We are doing a deep dive into ADHD 2.0 by Dr. Edward Hallowell,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this.
This book is
Yeah,
amazing. I mean, Dr. Hallowell really flips the script on how we think about ADHD. It's not just about managing something that's wrong. It's about recognizing the strengths
hmm
that come with it. He calls it a uniquely powerful asset.
I love that uniquely powerful asset. So no more just managing something wrong. We're talking about recognizing strengths.
Yes.
Like, what are we talking about here? What are some of the strengths?
So many. Creativity is a big one. People with ADHD are often bursting with ideas. They're able to see things from different angles, and that can be so valuable.
Totally. I can see that. And what about that laser focus that people with ADHD can tap into?
Yes, hyperfocus. When they find something that truly ignites their passion, forget about it. They can get so absorbed. It's incredible.
It's like they have a superpower.
Right. And let's not forget that boundless energy, I mean, sure, sometimes it can feel like too much, but channeled effectively.
Yeah.
It's like having a superpower.
Okay, but how does all this help you like navigate the real world, like at work or when you're trying to explain things to your kid's teacher who maybe doesn't quite get it?
That's such a good question. And it all starts with understanding your own brain. When you recognize your own strengths, you can start to advocate for yourself more effectively.
Okay, so it's like, hey, this is how my brain works best.
Yeah.
And here's what I bring to the table. Instead of trying to fit into some mold that doesn't quite work.
Exactly. It's about working with your ADHD brain, not against it.
I love that. Hey, yeah, Dr. Howell uses this really cool analogy to explain how this works. He talks about a brain network tug of war.
Yes. It's a great way to visualize what's happening.
Okay, so break it down for me. What's a brain network tug of war?
Imagine your brain is like a bustling city. Okay? Different areas or networks are responsible for different functions, and two key players in this tug of war are the DMN and the TPN.
DMN and TPN. Okay, those sound pretty technical. Give us the simplified version.
You got it. So the DMN, it's like your brain's daydreaming mode. Okay, it's where your mind wanders, it makes connections, sparks those aha moments of creativity.
Okay, I like the sound of the DMN. That's where all the fun stuff happens, right?
Right. But then we have the TPN, that's like the more focused, task-oriented network. It helps you plan, prioritize, stay on track.
So is that the party pooper network?
Kinda, it's the one that keeps things in check.
Got it.
Now, in neurotypical brains, these networks, they take turns. But with ADHD, it's more like a constant battle for control.
So it's not just me. There really is a tug of war happening up there. No wonder it's hard to concentrate sometimes when my brain's having this epic battle going on.
Exactly. And that's where mindfulness comes in. Things like meditation, they're not just about relaxation, they actually help train your brain to manage that tug of war more effectively.
So instead of feeling powerless against those racing thoughts, you can actually learn to direct the traffic a little bit up there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It gives you the power to steer your brain in the direction you want it to go. And that leads us to another surprising area of the brain that Dr. Hallowell talks about, the cerebellum.
The cerebellum, isn't that like the part of your brain that keeps you from falling over?
That's what most people think. It's about balance, right?
Yeah, like riding a bike.
Yeah, you need your cerebellum for that for sure. But it turns out it's way more important for things like attention and emotional regulation, even cognitive flexibility, than we ever thought.
Hold on, cognitive flexibility. What's that? I've never heard that one before.
So think of it like this. Cognitive flexibility is your brain's ability to switch gears, adapt to new situations, see things from different perspectives.
Okay.
Like being able to change the channel in your brain smoothly instead of getting stuck.
So it's not just about physical balance then. It's like mental balance too.
Exactly. It's like having a brain that can go with the flow, adapt to whatever's thrown its way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how do we tap into that? How do we boost our cerebellum power?
Well, the really cool thing is the cerebellum is incredibly what we call plastic.
Plastic, like what we drink out of.
Not quite.
Yeah.
When we say the brain is plastic, it means it can change and adapt throughout our lives. It's not set in stone.
Okay, so it's always learning and growing.
Exactly. And that means we can actually strengthen our cerebellum through specific exercises.
Brain exercises. I am all in. Tell me more.
Ah.
Okay, brain exercises for my cerebellum. Like what? Give us the goods.
Well, he suggests activities that challenge your balance and coordination.
Okay.
So think like yoga,
Okay.
tai chi, even martial arts can be really good for this.
Wait, are you telling me that doing a roundhouse kick can actually help my brain focus?
It sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it really all comes back to neuroplasticity. By doing these types of activities, you're literally rewiring your brain to be more balanced and coordinated.
So it's not just about, like, sitting still and meditating. You can actually train your brain while moving your body.
Exactly. And the best part is it doesn't have to be like a crazy intense workout routine.
Okay.
Even small things can make a big difference.
Like what? Give me an example, because I'm sure our listeners are like, okay, I'm already juggling a million things. How am I supposed to fit this in?
Right. So how about just like standing on one leg while you brush your teeth?
Okay.
Or try walking and like maintaining eye contact with a fixed point.
Yeah.
Even just being more aware of your posture throughout the day can engage those cerebellar muscles.
I love it. It's like sneaking in a brain workout without even realizing it.
Right. And speaking of sneaking in brain boosts, Dr. Hallowell also talks about the importance of creating supportive environments, especially at work or school.
Because even with like the best brain training in the world, if your environment is working against you, it's going to be tough.
Right, exactly. And this is where understanding your own right difficult comes into play.
Right, difficult. What is that?
So it's this idea that we all have an optimal level of stimulation.
Right.
Too little and we get bored, too much and we get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But with ADHD, finding that sweet spot is absolutely crucial.
So it's like Goldilocks, but for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Not too hard, not too soft, but just right.
Exactly. And the key is to figure out what your right difficult looks like.
Mm.
Do you thrive in a fast-paced environment with lots of deadlines? Or do you need more structure and predictability? It's really about knowing yourself.
So once you figure out your own right difficult, you can start like setting up your environment to match or asking for what you need right.
Exactly. Like communicate clearly with your boss or your teachers about what helps you focus. Maybe you need noise-canceling headphones or a designated quiet space to work. Don't be afraid to ask.
It's about advocating for yourself
Yeah.
and creating an environment where your ADHD brain can really shine.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so we've got brain exercise, we've got setting up the right environment.
Yeah.
What else does Dr. Hallowell suggest for like optimizing our ADHD brains?
Well, we can't talk about brain health without mentioning exercise.
Oh, of course not. Everyone knows moving our body is good.
Yeah.
But for folks with ADHD, it's like next level important, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just about like blowing off steam, although that's definitely a nice bonus. Exercise directly impacts those key brain chemicals.
You know, like
Dopamine,
No.
norepinephrine.
No.
And those play a huge role in attention, focus, emotional regulation.
So when you exercise, you're basically giving your brain this natural boost of those feel-good, focus-enhancing chemicals.
Exactly. And the best part is, you don't have to be like a marathon runner to get these benefits.
Okay, good.
It's really about finding what works for you.
So even if I'm not a gym rat, a little movement here and there can make a big difference.
Absolutely. A brisk walk, dancing it out in your living room, even just fidgeting more throughout the day, it all adds up. The key is consistency.
I love it. Finding that thing that gets you moving and makes your brain happy. Now, I know we can't talk about ADHD without addressing medication.
Right.
It's a big topic. And I think it can feel kind of loaded for some people.
Oh, for sure. And Dr. Hallowell acknowledges that medication can be an important tool for some individuals with ADHD, but he's really clear that it's a personal decision. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
So it's not about viewing medication as like a cure or a quick fix, but rather as one potential tool in your ADHD toolkit.
Exactly. And just like with any tool, it's important to find the right fit.
Okay.
He talks a lot about the importance of working closely with a healthcare professional to figure out if medication is right for you. And if so, finding the dosage and type that works best for your individual needs.
It's about having those open and honest conversations with your doctor, exploring all the options and finding what works best for you.
Exactly. And remember, medication, if it's something that you choose, is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Combining it with those lifestyle changes we've been talking about, creating supportive environments, engaging in regular exercise, practicing mindfulness, that's where the real magic happens.
It's like building your own custom ADHD toolkit tailored to your own brain and your own life.
Exactly. And that kind of brings us to what I think is the most empowering message of ADHD 2.0. This isn't about fixing yourself.
Okay.
It's about embracing how your brain is wired and finding what works for you.
Yes. No more trying to fit into some mold that was never made for you.
Exactly.
Instead, it's about celebrating those very things that make you different.
Dr. Hallowell reminds us that individuals with ADHD often possess incredible strengths.
Yeah. Like what?
We're talking creativity, problem-solving skills,
Yeah.
a contagious energy and enthusiasm. I mean, these are amazing qualities. So those things that maybe in the past were seen as like challenges or deficits, those are actually your superpowers in disguise.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that there's no right way to have a brain. We all have our own unique strengths and challenges.
And when we embrace those differences, that's when we can truly unlock our full potential.
Exactly. And on that note, if I can leave you with one final thought from our deep dive into ADHD 2.0, it's this. If there's no right way to have a brain, what possibilities open up when we stop trying to change who we are and instead focus on becoming the best versions of ourselves? Something to think about. Ooh, I like that. So much to think about. Great advice to take with us. And that wraps up our deep dive into ADHD 2.0. Remember, you're not alone, and your brain is capable of amazing things.
Yeah.
Until next time. So even if I'm not like hitting the gym every day, just a little bit here and there can actually like make a difference.
Absolutely. A brisk walk, dancing around your living room, even just fidgeting more. It all counts.
Yep.
The key is to just find something you like and do it regularly.
Okay, cool. So find what works and stick with it.
Yeah.
I like it. Now, I know we can't really talk about ADHD without talking about medication.
Right.
It's a big topic. And honestly, I think it can be kind of a sensitive one for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And Dr. Hallowell, he definitely acknowledges that medication can be an important tool for some people, but he's very clear that it's a personal choice. It's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
So it's not a cure. It's not a magic bullet. It's just one of the things in your toolkit.
Exactly. And like any tool, you got to find the right one. Right.
Right.
He really emphasizes working closely with a healthcare professional.
Yeah.
To figure out if medication is even the right path for you. And then if you do go that route, it's about finding the right dosage. You know what I mean?
It's about having those conversations of figuring out what works for you as an individual.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that medication, even if you do choose that route, it's just one piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Combining it with those lifestyle changes we talked about, creating those supportive environments, getting that exercise and practicing mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's really where the magic happens.
Yeah. It's like creating your own custom ADHD plan.
Right. Exactly. Your own unique formula.
I love that. And that brings us to what I think is like the most powerful message of this whole book. This isn't about fixing yourself.
Right.
It's about working with your brain the way it is.
It's about embracing your unique brain wiring, finding what works for you, and then owning it.
Yes. No more trying to fit into this box that you were never meant to be in.
Exactly.
Celebrate what makes you different.
He says it so well. Individuals with ADHD, they often have these incredible strengths.
Like what? Give us some examples.
We're talking creativity. They're amazing problem solvers. They have this contagious energy and enthusiasm. I mean, these are incredible qualities.
So all those things that maybe in the past people saw as weaknesses or challenges,
Right.
those are actually your strengths, just waiting to be unleashed.
Exactly. It's all about perspective, right? It's about understanding that there is no one right way to have a brain. We all have our own unique gifts and challenges, and that's what makes life interesting.
I love that.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to change who we are, it's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
Exactly. And if I can leave you with one thought from our deep dive today, it's this. Imagine what's possible when we stop trying to change who we are, and instead we pour all of our energy into becoming the best versions of ourselves.
Ooh, that is a good one to think about.
Right. It's a game changer.
Wow. So much to unpack there. Thank you
Yeah.
for taking us on this deep dive. It's been amazing. And to all of you listening, you are not alone. And remember, your brain is capable of amazing things. Until next time, everybody.